The same thing happens if bad things happen in your life. You have to know that everything that happens in your life, whether good or bad, is ordained from above. Which means is God said this is good should happen to you or this is bad should happen to you. If this is good, Baruch Hashem, Yishtabach Shemo, bless God. If it's bad, there's a reason for it. God's not just sending you something. So we have to look into ourselves in introspection and see what is the reason that God is sending this. Now, if I were to ask people, what would you rather? Would you rather have suffering in this world and be clean in the next world? Which means in the next world you have open gates to heaven. You're just welcomed in with open arms, or have suffering, have a great life over here, and then deal with the issues in the afterworld. So what? No, but hopefully it should be good in both worlds. B'ezrat Hashem, listen, we're talking about a class of suffering, and I don't wish, even though we're going to speak about how suffering is really for the benefit of the person, I don't wish suffering on anybody. Right? We don't want suffering. We don't. No, thank you. But if it comes, we have to know how to respond to it. But obviously, it's much better that you don't. Let's have a good life in this world and a great life, just opposite. I have a great life in this world and an amazing life in Olam Haba. But one person. All right. But one idea is that if it does happen, how do we handle it? How do we deal with these types of situations? Now, the first thing is that if somebody gets suffering in this world, know that you're getting pennies on the dollar. And I'll explain it, if you're doing real estate, right? And you have a real estate deal that comes up, and this guy's going into foreclosure, and he just needs to sell the building really fast. This building is worth $10 million. But he needs to get rid of it so quick. You want to know one of the big reasons why people have to get rid of buildings so fast, and they don't care? Divorce. They don't want their wife to get it. They'll lose money just so that she doesn't get it, right? The one time they said the love of their life, all they do is want to just get her, whatever you can. Unfortunate, people get into this hatred mode, and but one of the big reasons why people want to get rid of real estate fast is that they're getting a divorce, and they don't want the wife to split the thing, so they rather go and take the money and then put it in whatever bank account and move it around. They'll take 10% of what it's worth just to get it, just to sell it quickly. So let's say you're able to get something for a building that's worth $10 million, you're able to get it for $1 million. You'll jump on it. You can be like, are you kidding me? That's crazy. Imagine you're able to get it for $100,000. Even if you don't have the money, you'll find the money. You'll make friends that you have never even wanted to speak to before. Say, listen, just give it to me for a week. As soon as I get it, I take out a mortgage. I'm paying you back double. You get $200,000. Which is, by the way, questionable regarding interest regarding a Jew when you do that. But the idea is that there's ways to make money by buying real estate, by buying something called pennies on the dollar, which means it's not worth anything. You're saving a lot of money. If, let's say, and let me bring this idea a little further with this example. Let's say you wanted to open up a business deal. Open up a business. And you're looking, you build a business plan, and you figure out the amount of money that you need. You think this thing is going to be crazy successful. And you figure out you need $5 million to open it. It's a significant sum. So you start figuring out a way on how to, raise that money. And then you hear about this really wealthy person who's, always likes to give, always people in the community, any of you Jewish, he'll just give, he wants to help. And so you, memorize whatever you're going to tell. You arrange a meeting and everything. You have exactly how you're going to say. You're so nervous, and you get into that meeting and you sit down, and he starts schmoozing with you. He starts talking to you. Hey, buddy, what's going on? And all of a sudden, you feel very close to him. He's a very nice, welcoming, warm guy, and you start presenting him your whole business idea, and he says, "Youre, that's an amazing idea. That's great. I love it. Whatever you need, you got it." And this, you're sitting over there, you just want to give him a big hug and just see, you're crying. And you're like, I didn't think it would be this easy. Thank you so much. Wow, this is amazing. And he gives you a check, he signs a check, $5 million, he puts it in your bank account. Right? And, months go by, and unfortunately, one bad decision after another, the whole thing tanked. Right? You lost everything. All $5 million, you lost it all. Now this guy wasn't involved in the business. He says, listen, come to me in 6 months, and we'll work on the finances to see, because you needed some time to get the business off the ground. When you come 6 months, we'll work on some sort of payment plan back. 6 months has come, it's already 4 months, and you have nothing. You got to close up shop, and you're thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to tell it? So meanwhile, for 2 months, you're racking your brain, losing your hair. Stress is eating you up. It's like, what am I supposed to tell this guy? I owe him $5 million. How am I supposed to pay that back? And finally, you're stressed out. You look like you aged 6 years in 2 months, and you go meet this person, and you go over to him, and he takes a look at you, and he sees already what's going on, and you basically open up to him and say, listen, you're an amazing guy. You did so much for me. I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry. Everything went sour. And he's sitting there thinking for a while, and he says, all right, listen, we'll work on some sort of payment plan. But don't worry about it right now. I understand you lost it. We'll figure something out. And he leaves. Now you feel even worse because this guy's so nice. You're like, oh great. Now 2 weeks later go by, and you see him walking in the street. The first thing that you want to do is cross the street because he's so embarrassed. But you know what? You stay in the same street. You're going to say hi to him. You see him, and he takes a look at you. He says, oh, hi, how's everything? And you say, listen, everything, Baruch Hashem, what could I, listen, I'm sorry, I still don't have anything to pay you back. And he thinks for a second, he says, listen, I don't have my wallet on me, this rich guy says. He says, and I want to go buy a burger right now. He says, why don't you spot me this burger, and we'll call it Even Stevens. And you're like, suddenly your blood is well down, you're like getting dizzy. You're like, you mean just even, what, you can't even say the words out. What do you mean even? You mean I won't owe you anything? He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Baruch Hashem, Hashem bless you with money. I understand your hardships. We'll call it even. Just buy me this burger. Would anybody in the right mind say, you go buy your own burger? Says, I don't know. You're going to jump and say, everything on the menu for this guy on me. And, take doubles of everything. You'll do anything for that's a joke. You're paying $5 for something that you owe $5 million. This is the difference of suffering in this world versus suffering in the next world. Suffering in this world is paying $5 from $5 million loan. Suffering in the next world, you have to pay the $5 million. That's why God sometimes sends suffering in this world to people, and we'll soon see which type of people, is because He loves you. He wants to give you pennies on the dollar for something that you have to pay millions for. And what do people say? Why me, God? It's like, imagine this guy who's buying a burger is saying, oh, come on, I wish I wouldn't have met him. Now I have to pay for his burger. The guy's a fool. This is how we have to understand. When suffering comes upon a person, suffering is coming that you're paying pennies on the dollar for what you owe in the next world.